What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. It's the end of the day for me here, but I want to pop out here real quick and show you. We finished the custom floating top dining table. Give you a little tour. So here is the table, all finished up. A couple of different finishes on this piece. Let me take you through our process. So the base is finished with Danish oil from our good friends at Walrus Oil Furniture Finishes. How we do our Danish oil application is essentially 3 coats, but what we do is apply Danish oil and then continue to apply it every 10 to 15 minutes until the wood won't absorb any more Danish oil. And then we'll let it cure and then buff off any excess. That allows us to make sure we get good penetration of oil deep into the wood, and that any areas that are dry or a little more thirsty for that Danish oil, make sure that those get fully saturated and get good protection and good color depth. For the top, the underside top, we use a product called Rubia Monocoat Oil Plus 2C Pure. We'll talk a little about Pure in a second, but that is a linseed oil finish. It's a catalyzed linseed oil, meaning that the top itself will reach its near full, probably 85 to 90% water resistance and durability within about a week. It is dry within 24 hours and actually safe to touch within about an hour to 2 hours after application. So it allows us to work through that finishing process. It also makes sure that the client can use their table right away and not have to wait weeks before it reaches its full water resistance capacity. Top is actually 2 coats, 24 hours apart, which allows us to get full penetration into the wood fibers and get a little bit deeper color tone and make sure that every wood fiber across this board is fully saturated so you get that full water resistance and durability. I also think it brings up the sheen just a little bit, and if you kind of see, it's a little less than satin, between a matte and a satin, which I think looks really, really good. I had some questions on my last post about why am I using 2 different finishes on this piece for 2 reasons. One, the Danish oil is a little bit easier and less viscous to apply to all the little corners that were in this very geometric base design. So it meant the application and the buffing process was a little bit easier mechanically to get into all the little corners. And we knew that we could continually saturate it and make sure we got really good coverage over the base to give it good protection. Also, having a longer cure time wasn't really as much of an issue on the base because it's just gonna sit there and won't be exposed to water and cups and plates and stuff. We want the client to be able to use their product as soon as they get it delivered. The top, with the catalyzed finish, it's going to again be cured in about 24 hours, full water resistance in about a week. I do always tell clients, hey, why don't you use coasters and such for the first couple weeks to be sure we get full curing and full durability of the top. But that's why I went with 2 different products. So now that we talked about the technical details of the finishing, let's just appreciate this beautiful, beautiful table. Really great tone across these boards. Have a little inclusions of sapwood, which is just showing some of the character of the wood. Some beautiful cathedral grain here and alternating in this board here, some dark highlights, some light highlights, some cool figure right along this board right here. Just a really beautiful top with a nice depth of color. And then the legs, beautiful 16-quarter walnut stock these were milled from, and really some nice characters, some nice straight grain, some cathedral grain as you saw in the other one. And then as we move our way down here, we can see the floating top design. So that beautiful shadow line that just kind of moves across the piece really accentuates the length of this piece, adds some light and shadow coming through, and then our accents with our custom brass hardware on the ends above our legs, I think just really makes a beautiful contrast and complement to the dark black walnut. And again, on the underside, we've got our floating X base, as you can see there, with our internal structure. These little decorative strips to allow to accentuate that floating top design. Everything is beveled to the same 12 degrees, both the tabletop itself, around the whole perimeter, the leg taper, and then actually those little staves there you can see. That's why I call them kind of stretchers or supports, give that as well. And obviously then our custom brass hardware we have made for our tabletop attachment, and just a really beautiful looking table. So really, really happy with how this design came out. This is an adaptation of my traditional floating top dining table, which is one of my designs I've made in a bunch of different sizes and types. That one actually has the stretchers all the way out to the side, which gives you the floating top look and doesn't have this little decorative strip. But the client, because of the seating position they want, the number of chairs, we work back and forth with them on the design. And that's why I went with this X base, which actually gives you quite a bit more knee room for a bunch of different seating positions, both at the head of the table and along the slide. And also with this decorative strip, still accentuates that floating top design. So very, very happy with how this turned out, and just a stunning stunning. Really fun design, super fun build, especially doing some of that custom brass work we did in-house to really bring this piece together. This piece will go out the door Thursday morning, head over to its forever home. But tomorrow we're gonna pick up some quarter sawn cherry, some 8 and 12 quarter cherry, work on another dining table that's an extension dining table in a Northwest shaker design. So that's what we got up next on the docket. We're just gonna admire this piece a little bit more, and it'll get picked up by the delivery team Thursday morning and head out. So thanks so much for following along. Thanks for all the support as always, and I'll catch you tomorrow in the shop.